When I was in middle school, you either had to learn to play an instrument or become a part of the chorus, whatever the school chorus was. So I went through middle school as a part of the chorus class. So it's like the singing class. And I continued that all throughout high school because chorus class was pretty easy. I enjoyed it a little bit. Like I was just kind of going into it. It was an easy class. Like there wasn't like intense homework or anything like that. So I was like, yeah, I'll continue in chorus in high school, so I don't have to do like super intense homework and kind of just go in the class and vibe. So in high school chorus, I had a chorus teacher by the name of Mr. Clank, and I actually wound up really enjoying his chorus class because he was the kind of man that had found his purpose. Like he was the perfect example of it. Music was his purpose. So he was super passionate about singing, playing instruments, everything when we were in there. And it was kind of hard not to like enjoy being in his class and like the way he talked about music and everything. But kind of getting off topic here, in high school, I had this like misperception or this misconception that I was buffer or bigger than I really was. So in reality, I was probably around 150 pounds. I was this like skinny, lanky dude. And I thought because I trained in my basement that I thought I was bigger than everybody else, when in reality, like probably every single jock at my school that like played sports was probably in better shape than me, even though I like was, you know, training almost every single day in my basement. The quality of that training wasn't amazing, which I'll get into later in the video, but essentially I one of the days I was in chorus, I wore a camo baggy pants, and I had on like a tight black tank top. And I just thought like I looked so badass in that outfit, and like all the girls were gonna like look at me and stuff. And I couldn't be more wrong, because when I went into chorus class and we started doing like warm ups and stuff, Mr. Clank looked over to me and he said, "Oh, Michael, sun's out, guns out." And two of the girls in my class started laughing. And it was then that like I never felt like smaller physically in my life than in that moment when, I thought I looked so cool. And here I was being like laughed at essentially by two of the girls in class. So like obviously I didn't have their respect, and I obviously wasn't as big as I thought I was, or as like I didn't have an aesthetic body yet. I still had the body of a high school kid that, thought he was bigger than he was. So it was kind of like a joke, honestly. And I had been training for a couple of years, maybe like 1 or 2 years at that point. So I was just kind of thinking, like, where are all these gains? Like, I've been training, I've been working out in my basement, and I've been lifting weights. Like, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. Why aren't I gaining muscle at the rate that I want to? So I kind of labeled myself and started watching videos on being a hard gainer and being like the skinny kid, and trying to get bigger from that. So if you're like me and you think that you're a hard gainer, and you might have friends that go to the gym that are able to pack on muscle more than you, or you might have been training for a year or two now and you're like, I don't feel any bigger, like I'm not seeing these newbie gains that everyone's talking about, like what's going on with that? So this is kind of a video for you. So first off, my name's Michael Rubis. I help unmotivated men change their lives. And there's two typical mistakes that self-labeled hard gainers make. And the first one of those is consistency. So as I said earlier, I was training in my basement. I had a kind of like a workout schedule, and I trained like every day of the week and took off on the weekends. The problem with the quality of training I was getting during that kind of makes it so I wasn't being consistent, was I would train 5 days a week, but during those training sessions, I would be distracted. So my home gym setup was kind of in the back of the basement. It had like a barbell, calf machine, bench, so I could do like all the basic compound movements. But the problem with that was I was a high school kid. I was a gamer, so I was online on my games all the time. When I wasn't doing homework, I was gaming. So I had my gaming PC in the finished basement in like probably about 15 feet away from where I had my gym set up. So I'd be mid training and that gaming PC would start to look really good to me. And I would want to go over there and game. And sometimes the urge, like I couldn't fight the urge. And I would get on for like a League of Legends game or two. And then by the time those games were over, and I'd say to myself, like, okay, time to work out again, I wouldn't feel like it. So then I'd just keep gaming for the rest of the day. And it's like I got half a workout in. Like on a push day, when I want to do like chest, shoulders, triceps, I might do like chest and some triceps and then just say fuck it to shoulders and go game. So I honestly wasn't that consistent in my early years of lifting. It wasn't really until I got a job at a Planet Fitness and I had that like free gym membership where I was like, okay, like I might as well start going to the gym in like before I work. I might as well go in, work out, take a shower, get changed into my work clothes there, and then be at work already. And that really impacted how I looked because I was forcing myself out of that environment where I was inconsistent, and it put me in a better environment, better equipment, better like there's not a fucking gaming PC 15 feet away from me, so it was good. It was better for my discipline. It was better for my consistency. But you need to be honest with yourself how often you train, and you need to be honest with how frequently you can get to the gym. Because unless your name's Dustin and you're homeless, we all have things we need to be doing. We have jobs, we have, a significant other, we have maybe kids on the way like I do, or a kid on the way like I do. And if your schedule accommodates it and you can only make it into the gym with your schedule and your activities 3 days a week, don't feel like you need to force yourself to go to the gym 6 days a week and take one rest day, because if you set yourself up with such a huge plan and it like goes out the window every week because you're just too busy and your schedule doesn't allow for it, you're just going to be setting yourself back mentally every single week when you can't make it. So if you can commit yourself to 2 or 3 days a week consistently and that's all you can do it. Because in the long run, if those are like devoted sessions where you're going into it and you focus on those sessions and you work out with intentionality and you just lock in and you go in for it, those are going to be better sessions than you maybe working out like 4 or 5 times that week, but like it's hectic. You can barely get a good workout in because you're just so busy and you're running around and you can't, like the quality of your training will go down. So commit to what you can and be honest with yourself about how consistent you can be or how many days a week you can go or train. So with that said, the second and probably biggest thing that I see a lot of hard gainers struggle with, or rather self-labeled hard gainers struggle with, is not eating enough. And I was guilty of this for years of my training career. And because when I would game in like middle school and high school, I would always be like snacking a good amount. So when I wanted to gain weight, I was like, okay, I just need to eat a little bit more. I already eat a lot, so I'm just gonna like go by feel, and I'm just gonna eat more. And it turns out that I needed to eat like 800 more calories a day than I was, because I wasn't tracking my calories and I had no idea how much of everything I needed to be eating. So once I started tracking and implementing things like liquid calories, like high calorie, low satiety foods, I didn't really understand how much more I needed to eat. So if you're kind of in that position where you want to gain weight and you want to put on more muscle, but you're kind of like, you're still ending up skinny, you're still like not putting on as much muscle as you thought you were, you need to start tracking your calories. There's really no way around it. I use the app Chronometer. I highly recommend that you use it. There's like a barcode scanner. It makes it really easy to scan things and portion things out. Get a frickin' food scale and start like actually measuring what you're putting into your body. I promise your results will thank you if you actually start to not just go to the gym and train consistently, but you actually like center your diet around it, because at the end of the day, like, you can't expect to build muscle from nothing. So if you're not feeding your body the extra protein and the extra calories that it needs to take your body past like survival and put it in a surplus to where it can afford to build your body up, you're not going to build it off of, diet calories where you're like eating much less than you should, because your body has nothing to work off then. It's just working to survive at that point. So to add to that, when I finally started to realize how much I needed to eat, once I actually started to match it and eat what I needed to, some days became a chore to eat. Like, I would go to bed like absolutely stuffed. Like, I couldn't, like, I felt sick sometimes with how much I needed to eat. That doesn't mean you need to like eat 4,000 more calories right away. You gradually work up to it like over a week. But what I'm saying is, if you truly are putting your body in a position where it's in a caloric surplus enough, sometimes eating's going to be a chore. And if it doesn't feel like that right now to you, and you feel like you could eat more, or you're just like eating until you're full and then you're stopping, you really don't know how much calories you're getting in, or that you need to be getting in, for you to actually make changes in your body weight. So I hope this video helps you. If you want to actually have me walk you through every step and help you gain the weight that you need and start to change your life and build more muscle, and not get laughed at by the two girls in your chorus class, then I'm gonna have my link in the link to my website in the description. So if you want my help personally, in helping you build a training program, helping you with nutrition, or just helping you in whatever type of life guidance you need, links are going to be in the description below. So you have it in you to be great. Goodbye.